franktalks.com.
This program does not represent the views of this station and may be considered offensive to some listeners. This program may contain mature subject matter, including frank discussions of controversial topics. It is intended for mature, open-minded audiences. Discretion is highly advised. This program is entirely independently produced by and is copyrighted by Frank. It is broadcast here under license.
You're listening to Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles, and I'm Frank because I have to be. On today's show, we are talking about international game, and we have the #1 dating guru of all of Europe. He is the man who runs the Bad Boy Lifestyle Company at www.badboylifestyles.com. He's known as Bad Boy. Welcome to Frank Talks, Bad Boy.
Thank you.
All right, let's get right into the interview. First question, where were you born? And tell me everything that you believe is relevant about your upbringing that eventually led you to becoming a seduction guru.
I was born in Croatia, Zagreb, 27 years ago. Beautiful country to grow up, and with a lot of beautiful girls. Why did I become player, whatever, every guy has desires for having a lot of girls, so
absolutely
nothing different than other guys. It's more just like I know that I can get him, and I didn't know. I was trying. I was doing my best to get him, and finally found a way to get him, and finally find a way how it works and how they think, how whole planet works, and the easy way to get him.
And was there ever a time in your youth where you were bad with women, or have you always been naturally good with them?
I had my years of not understanding what to do, and of course, every guy goes through this. Every guy goes through, and no one gets born with skills, Skill is something that you develop, understanding for women,
Mm-hmm.
Some guys, they live with 5, 6 women at home, so maybe for them it's kind of easier. If you're 5 girls, you're living with them, 5 sisters or something, with the time you understand how they think, how they behave, and you understand how to, manipulate them, whatever. For some guys who, doesn't have mother, just lives with his father, or has, he was a social problem in his childhood, of course he's going to have a problem, with girls, or being social at all. For me, I had a little bit of problems. I was in a relationship, since I know myself, high school, college, whatever. I was never able to get out and actually get girls, one-night stand and stuff. And that was the area where I started working. I think I was 18 or 19, and I was started working heavily on it, to find a way how to actually go out in a club and get one-night stand, pull the girls home. Because that was something I never tried or did or dared at all, to do it.
So you were already having a relationship when you were in high school, but you really didn't go out there until you were a little bit older. 18, 19 is when you started going out to clubs and started to master that game.
Exactly, Because I had girls. I was in relationships, but I never had a skill to actually go out and get threesomes and stuff from the clubs, Because that's area that no one gets born. It's area that you must master it.
One of the things you just mentioned in this interview is how if a man is living with many women, he will learn about women more. What about the guy who, let's say he lives with only women, he only lives with his mother and sisters, and they end up dominating him. They end up always telling him what to do. They end up raising him to not be a man.
Yeah.
But exactly. To always, be...
So let's say, in this situation, there are 2 types of guys, okay?
Mm-hmm.
2 types of guys develop in this kind of situations, homes, whatever. It's first guy who gets dominated over them, and they are taking everything, taking all the control over him, and I think he ends up a very feminine, So he has a lot of like feminine moves, and that's because he's been under the pressure of female energy and whatever, okay? While other type of guys, which is like one of my friends, is like a guy who actually took control over the house. You know, like they say every house needs to have a man, okay?
Yes.
So somehow he's like a three women at home, and like 2 sisters and mother. But eventually, I mean, he was like, I don't know, 18, 19, 17, whatever, he started fixing house. He was doing everything, you know, for them. And he became a leader of that house. I mean, not leader, but like, he was the man. He was the head of the house, you know, how it's supposed to be. And yeah, so I mean, and he's very good with girls. Probably that's, I think, one of the reasons. Not only reason, it's like one of puzzles.
Now I have another question for you. You just mentioned that, you know, the way it's supposed to be, where the man is in charge, the man is the leader of the household, of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in what you're saying. I've experienced it as well. How do you deal with females who tell you that no, it's not, the man is not supposed to be the leader, it has to be equal because women really like a nice guy? What do you say to those critics?
I mean, I just laugh, you know, that's funny. You just, I mean, you just let them drive the car and they're gonna understand they cannot do it and stuff. I mean, it's just not possible. I mean, that's how planet was not designed. So, I mean, what I usually do is like nothing, just because that's what she thinks, you know. I mean, whenever girls tell they want a nice guy or that she wants to be a leader in a relationship, it always hurts them. It hurts them more than guys, you know.
Okay, how does it
So,
hurt them?
I don't know. I don't think it's... Sorry?
How does it hurt them? Give me an example of how it hurts a woman when she has to be the leader, when she wants a nice guy.
Okay, typical jerk. You know that every woman has a fantasy.
Yes.
To tame a lion, tame find some bad boy and whatever jerk, and then tame him, shape him into your relation, into, I don't know, some nice boy.
Right.
I mean, that's like fantasy in every like Roman novel and stuff. You're probably aware of this, aren't you?
Yep.
It's like one of their biggest fantasies. And now what usually happens is, it's like she falls in love because he's like a jerk, dominant, you know, he doesn't listen and he doesn't take her shit, whatever, you know. So she's all over him let's say first year or something, whatever. Eventually, what happens, the guy becomes more and more nice, starts like, I don't know, starts treating her nicely, you know, he relaxes her, and he stops being like this, you know, jerk, animal, whatever, you know, crazy sex. And after a while, he becomes boring because he's predictable, you know, he's at home with his remote control. So basically, she creates a nice guy, she tames him. And then what happens? She dumps him.
That's right. You got it. The man speaks
Okay.
the truth. The man speaks
She dumps him, and then it's game over, you know, she's bored with him, and so actually it hurts her.
So when a woman gives you resistance, let's say you're in a relationship with her, or maybe this is a question that some of your clients give you. The man and a woman are in a relationship, and the woman is saying, "No, I want to start being in charge. No, I want to start making decisions." What do you advise a man to say to a woman in that point? Is he supposed to get very aggressive with her? Should he become very dominant, or is there a way to communicate that he is the leader, but in a more subtle and gentle way? What would you recommend?
I think being a leader is more subtle. It's more like it's very calibrated, you know. Okay, when I say leader, I'm like this aggressive guy who's like, you know, beating her at home and stuff, you know. It's more like, okay, she's like, I want to be a leader, take us to dinner, find a good restaurant. I'm not sure, you know, like, so, I mean, maybe like even like you give her control, but still you are under control.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yes. So the idea is that you give her control on something little, and not
Yeah, and
something
she's
big.
gonna fuck it up eventually.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then it's not because it's very stupid to argue with them. I mean, guys, don't ever argue with a woman. It's useless. You're not gonna win, okay? Because behind every argue there is emotion. So even if you win this logical argue, she still feels that, I don't know, peace or whatever emotion is it.
All right, let me ask you this. Here's a theory for you, and to give me your opinion on this. Do you believe that a man should treat a woman as if she is a child?
Yes and no. Yes, but depends when.
All right, when is it okay to treat her as a child, and when does he need to treat her like a responsible adult?
Usually my frame when I go to the clubs is she's a little kid and I'm just like playing with her. And that's actually a very good frame attitude to have. I mean, because like I don't know, okay, why? If you're too rush with her, she's gonna cry, okay, in a club. Especially, it's excellent attitude for clubs, for like clubbing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you treat her like a princess, you know, she's gonna get bored with you. So you're just like a little kid that's not teasing her, playing around with her, but never giving actually what she wants. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants to know that she got you, you know. And once she knows that, you know, it became over. So I think, you know, like this first thing, like that she's a little kid, you know, actually she is, you know, that's excellent. You know, later I think when the relationship becomes more sexual and it becomes, you know, physical, I think you should stop like doing this, like, doing less of teasing, less of things, more like how things become more. I mean, it depends what kind of girl she is, you know. I can say serious because, you know, if something becomes serious, then it's serious. You know, you don't get serious with every girl you sleep with.
There's another question. Let's go right into that. What's the criteria for you? So to know that there are some girls that you only have sex with, and there's other girls that you want to have a relationship with. How do you know? And I'm asking you in the perspective of, let's say that you have a guy who's knocking on your door and saying, "Bad boy, I need your advice. I'm now dating a lot of women. I'm now sleeping a lot of women. How do I know which one I should choose as my girlfriend?"
It's about the emotion you feel. It's all about the emotion that you feel for this girl, you know. And because like every relationship I had was able to go long term if I choose some. Because I mean, what it is like even like up to the marriage, you know. So basically, every girl that I was sleeping with, you know, I was able to push to the marriage without any problem. So it's about you, you know. If you feel like, you know, you just like click with some girl and you understand her, you know, she's not like coming with new bullshit every day, you know, something trying to like dominant, try to like, I don't know, turn off the TV or stuff when you're watching TV, you know. If you see you get along with her, of course you need some time. Maybe like, I don't know, like 2-3 dates, I don't know, something like, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks. But I mean, eventually it's very obvious. I mean, it's obvious maybe on like, you spend with person like 3 hours, you're gonna say it.
So let's get to this other question I have here. Part of the pickup lifestyle, to become a master of just going into a club and finding a girl, people assume that we do it without emotion. And then you just said that the way to choose who would become your girlfriend, it depends on the feelings you have for her.
Yeah, but feelings come later.
Feelings come later.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, okay, you go to the club, and of course, I mean, if you're gonna feel every rejection, you're gonna end up crying that night, you know. I mean, if you're gonna approach, you know, and I don't know, she gives you like some, because, okay, your approach was very bad, she's gonna like fuck off or, you know, totally diss you off. You know, if you feel too much, if you're an emotional person, you know, in this point, it's gonna hit you badly.
So how do you be emotionally guarded so that you don't get hurt from
everything? That's why I just said, like, you know, you're just playing with them. This is a game, you know. It's like a little kid, you know. Are you pissed off when a little kid like cries or hits you or I don't know, throws remote control on the floor? Are you pissed?
Well, no, it's a little kid.
No, so it's a little kid, okay? That's why this frame is beautiful, you know. You're just a little kid, you know. You say, okay, no problem, you know, let's play again, you know, like whatever, like play with other toys.
Okay, so if I understand this correctly, the rejection that you would get from a girl in a club is meaningless because you have to think of it as if she's a little kid. But it's only after that you've been dating a while that you start seeing her as a woman.
Yeah, then you start. I mean, when you go for a coffee, you go for a movie, you know, like then it's obvious, you know, you're gonna date her more or not, you're gonna continue or not.
All right.
And it's also very like the energy the person has, the vibe, you know. I mean, I had like a few weeks ago, I was with one girl, and she's into punk, punk music and stuff like Black Nails, and just the energy that she was surrounded with, I didn't like it, And I was never able to, to go for a coffee, and I mean, I tried, but it was just like too cold for me. The energy she had, and we didn't click. There was no vibe, It's totally two different worlds, where I come from and where she comes from.
And you wouldn't just go ahead and try to seduce her anyway, just for the practice of it? Would you even advise people to do that?
I did. I mean, okay, it happened on home party, but it was, I don't know, I think it was my mistake.
Do you think it's possible for a man like yourself, who picks up all the time, who has the skill, to still be able to fall in love?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I love all my girls. I mean, I really love them, man. I don't see why what is the problem,
Well, can you give the listeners an idea of what your current lifestyle is? I mean, how many girlfriends do you have? How many soulmates do you have? What's the, are you going out every week? Do you go out every Friday night, Saturday night, or do you stay home on the Friday night with the girlfriend and go out to pick up on Saturday? What's your...
I mean, I don't stick on... I'm not like a routine type of guy, someone who's going to stick on his schedule, I mean, yesterday I went just for a drink with my friend, and we ended up partying till 4 a.m. in the morning, So I don't know, every day is different. It's very, very hard to say how my day looks like, but I think right now, I have one serious girlfriend, and I know maybe a few other girls that I see from time to time, Travel a lot, so it's more I have girls in other cities, for example, I don't know, in a few other cities, so it's I see them, and when I go there, it's interesting.
All right, on that note, we got a break for commercial. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Bad Boy about his world travels, and we're going to be talking about international game. Stay tuned here on Frank Talks, Pleasures and Lifestyles.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test, a man's guide to the emotional needs of women. What would your life be like if you knew exactly what to say and do with women? This book is for the guy that simply wants to learn how to handle women's tests by addressing her emotional needs. By this, you create the type of attraction that will make her see you as the one she was destined to be with. This book will teach you how to get the woman you want and how to keep her. Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test is the Rosetta Stone for men to understand exactly what a woman means when she speaks and how to respond. Is that worth changing your life forever? Buy this book at franktalks.com now.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by the Adult Male Virgin Seminar and Telephone Consultations. Ladies, is your boyfriend an adult male virgin? Is he so shy and insecure that you need to take the initiative, but you really wish he would just be the man and take the lead? Does he think holding hands and sweet cheek kisses is fulfilling? Does he think the G-Spot is the name of a new club? Ladies, if his idea of a night of fun means you get to be player number 2 in his latest video game, then get him the gift that will give you both pleasure: the Adult Male Virgin Seminar and Telephone Consultations. Only available at franktalks.com. Frank helps adult boys become men.
Frank Talks is making the world a better place by interviewing people on pleasures and lifestyles in order to inspire and educate listeners like you about the possibilities to lead more interesting and fulfilling lives. Be sure to visit our website at www.franktalks.com for the most up-to-date information and the latest downloads of programs just like the one you are listening to now.
You're listening to Frank Talks, Pleasures and Lifestyles. I'm Frank because I have to be. We're in studio today with Bad Boy. He runs the website www.badboylifestyles.com. He is the #1 dating guru in Europe, and he is famous for teaching direct method of seduction. He is also one of the very few gurus who got a standing ovation at the last Cliff's List 2006 convention. Welcome to Frank Talks, Bad Boy.
Hello.
All right. In the last segment, you were talking about having a girlfriend in the different cities around the world. You are a world traveler. You are known as not only the #1 dating guru in Europe, but when it comes to direct method, you're one of the best. And you have women globally around the world. So let's talk about international game. My first question to you, bad boy. What is the difference between game in Europe versus game in North America?
So from my experience, it's more or less the same, but with like little like a details. I mean, Europe is a big and America is big as well, so it's like from country to country. So for example, like in Europe, there's like so many different countries and so many different like cultures that influence, you know, the mindset of this like sexual dating, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know, if you go like from Croatia to Russia to Sweden, you're gonna feel 3 different things, you know. Some girls are gonna be more or less bitchy, you know, more or less for one-night stands or like less for relationships, you know. It's really like, but I think in general, to sum it up, I think like as European girls, they're kind of more used to, you know, to like more dominant guys. And if you go to America, I think guys are becoming more and more feminine and more like a weak. So what I noticed, like, this dominant direct approach works much better than Europe actually does.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
so, and you know what, I do have to agree with you in terms of North American men. They have been feminized. They've been made to feel guilty for being men. And they're in shock when they meet someone like yourself who comes in from Europe and is so dominant. And it's from outside of their normal comfort zone. So what's...
Yes, I mean, yes, continue.
No, I was just curious as to what would you advise these North American men who are so feminized that they just cannot turn on a woman?
Yeah, that's very interesting, you know. It's like, and the more you go inside, like the more like weak and like this feminine, insecure guys you're gonna see. It's actually like, I think like this feminist like movements, I mean, like they kinda equalize too much, like men and women, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, I mean, okay, by default of universe, man is supposed to be like kind of dominant in order to attract a woman because like she wants security, dominance, and power from a man. Okay. So, all this idea of like being a weak and insecure around women, it's not gonna work. If you start a little bit of history, you're gonna see that in every stage, woman was attracted to guy with power, dominance. If you go to like million years back to caveman periods, or any period you go in a history, you're gonna see the totally same thing. So my advice for like American guys is like just like to be more dominant around them, to like stop asking for everything, for their permission, for doing, instead of you do what's best for you, not for her. It's like think about your pleasure. As one of my girlfriends, she actually said, very good, she dated one of those weak, insecure guys, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I mean, take a look at him. He's not able to satisfy himself. I know, the story was very, she was in a bed. She came home with this guy, and she was lying down in bed, and the guy sat on a chair in her bedroom.
Oh, no.
He was afraid to sit on a bed, okay?
Oh, jeez.
And then she said, if he has no guts to pleasure himself, how he's gonna satisfy me? If he's not able to satisfy himself by coming to the bed and, you know, get him, you know, how he's gonna satisfy him? Me. So I think number one thing is like to stop thinking what society wants from you and what they expect from you, like to be like a female. But instead like to like satisfy yourself, to go out and to get what you want, you know, write down what you want and go out and get it. Because life It's the way you set it up. It's not going to be how I set it up, how like what your president says or anyone else. The life is going to be the way you design it. Only you.
And you really think that people should write down what they want in their life before they go out and get it?
It's always they forget. It's always like he goes out and then he forgets what he wants. I mean, if you really want something, you're going to get it. If you really, really want, you're going to get it, no matter what. That's how you need to think.
In your experience traveling the world, do you think that North America is struggling for nothing? Because it sounds like in the rest of the world, women are used to being with dominant men, and as long as a man is dominant, he'll find himself women. But here in North America, men are afraid to be dominant because they're afraid to offend women. Because I'm thinking here that North America has screwed ourselves up. Militant feminism has come in. North America is screwed up because it sounds like it's the only place in the world where men are struggling to be with women. Now, in your perspective, knowing international game, is this true, or are there people struggling with women all over the world?
I think North America went far. I think like Japan actually is on top of these brainwashed countries, okay? It's on top. It's been under pressure for years and years, and I think it's going to explode very soon. Then I think North America is there, and I think Europe is going to become this in probably 7 to 10 years. Because we've all been under pressure, under brainwashing by governments, things, of course, in order to sell more. Because what's happening now, as they did probably during 60s, 70s, big commercial on doing excellent customers from females, making them insecure about their beauties and stuff. So they start buying things to feel more happy, to feel more confident, because we do request confidence, we all know it. What's happening in the last 10 years, same thing on guys. That's why today we have this metrosexual guys, makeup and stuff. It's same thing. They're now trying to make beautiful customers from men. Of course, to make a customer, you need to make him unhappy, insecure. So what's going to happen? Eventually, guys are going to start buying more and more products to get girls. But actually, it leads nowhere. I mean, for people who are selling things, it's beautiful because there's a huge gap between men and women, and they're not happy. Make sense?
Absolutely.
So take a look. The worst customer actually on this planet is a guy who is happy, like me. If you're happy, you're getting what you want. You don't buy things.
That's true.
They cannot sell you anything.
That's true.
So if you're unhappy, frustrated, it's very easy to sell. So basically what they create a huge gap between man and a woman. In that gap, they sell things. Whatever it is, car, perfumes, makeup, swimming pools, whatever it is, expensive shoes. So I think, yes, somehow North America, is being influenced by the site, and it's, not good. It's definitely not good for neither for guys, neither for girls, because girls are not getting laid as well. I mean, I started teaching, my first workshop was actually for 2 lesbians, girls, here in Croatia. It was one of the first workshops that I did seminars.
Really?
And then I kind of moved to the guys for some reason.
And what's the difference between teaching a lesbian who wants to pick up women and teaching guys who want to pick up women?
It's harder. It's much, much harder than teaching guys. Because besides all of these techniques and whatever things that you actually do, teaching women, there's one big issue, and that's she is afraid that she's going to be a slut. Easy, or if she approaches a guy, or a girl, whatever. And one more thing, okay, for a guy to kiss or make out, or even on a finger, or get sexual with a girl in a club, it's kind of normal, something you see in a clubs every day. But for girls to approach girls in a group and start making out with her and take her to the toilet, it's there's a huge gap, it's just not socially acceptable. So it's very hard to train them, it's very hard to teach them. It's possible, but just harder.
Getting back to international game for a second, you're telling me that Japan is worse than North America, and that you're
going to be like a Japan in probably 5, 7 years, 10 years.
And in the same amount of time, Europe is going to turn into what the United States is now.
Yes. I mean, if you go, you'll see that UK, it's like this, okay, let's say United States, then it's like 5 years back is the UK, then plus 5 years Germany, you know, this area, Germany, Switzerland, Austria.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this Eastern Bloc, I think, like we are like probably 10, 15 years back, you know, in time, like, you know, Croatia and all this, like, you know, this part of Europe, eastern part of Europe.
Around the world, what are some of the best places for actual pickup?
It depends what you want. You want the easy girls, you want like sluttish girls, beautiful girls.
Okay, let's talk about one-night stands. Where's the best place in the world to go for one-night stands?
I think so far what I noticed is like actually Sweden, for me, personally.
Sweden is the best place for one-night stands.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. From my experience, yes.
Okay. Now, where can men find the most beautiful women in the world in your experience?
I mean, that's really, I mean, I think beauty is like a taste, you know. It's like, what do you like? You know, some guys like Japanese girls, some like European, some like Latino girls.
Okay, well, for you, like, for what you
I
would
think
consider...
for me is Russia, definitely.
Really?
Russian girls. Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of men in North America who find Russian women very, very attractive. What do you think it is about the Russian women that is so attractive?
I mean, all this like a block, okay? All this like, you know, I mean, Croatia, the same genes. Croatia, Russia, Poland, you know, Serbia, it's all the same genes, you know. So basically you have like this Eastern European genes. So all the girls here look the same, you know. Basically, like when you say Russia, I know, but just for example, that's why I'm amazed with Moscow, because in Moscow you can find like so many beautiful girls, it's crazy. Not particularly Russian, but this kind of genes that I like. So that's my type of woman.
Is there any place where it is they're so resistant to male dominance that you have a hard time picking up? Is there any place in the world that doesn't appreciate male dominance?
I don't know, really. I still haven't found. I'm sure it exists. You know? But I still didn't find it.
Well, I've often found in Canada, when guys go out to clubs, if they act very dominant, they will get kicked out of the clubs by the bouncers.
No, I was last week in Canada. I don't think so.
No?
No, I was last week in Canada, and we had like a very nice time there in Montreal. I mean, I've been in Montreal, Vancouver, and I'm coming to Vancouver very soon, and I totally disagree with this.
Really? Because I've heard of people who are very good at game constantly getting invited to leave clubs and getting kicked out of clubs.
But it's mostly because of, okay, that's true, but that's because of jealousy.
Okay, so it's not because of the dominance of the guy.
It's not dominance. I mean, okay, why? Because we guys, like a good girls, we are the worst customers, again, in a club. And those two beautiful girls that I usually take home, or my friends take home, they're part of bait. I mean, you have like two beautiful girls on a bar, or like bunch of them, okay, in a club. And then I come there with my friends, and we pick them up. We don't buy a bottle of champagne, bottle of wine, spend like few $100 on them, or on club. We go in for free, get the girls out and take them home. I mean, you're gonna let me again in the club?
Makes a
because
lot
if I'm taking those two beautiful girls, or like whatever, like we're just taking away the girls from you. Of course you don't like us. Of course, like you're not gonna appreciate what they do. So it's not because of dominance, not because I mean, you're dominant with the girl, you know, you're not dominant with the bouncers and the owners of club and bartenders, you know. And in a busy club, no one can actually see you. So you don't be afraid to do anything to the girls, you know. I mean, of course, if you go like too much, if she like complains to the bouncer, you're gonna get kicked out. But dominance is actually takes a lot of control and calibration. You're not always the same, you know. Of course, if your girl is like, I don't know, I had one girl that I probably never forget. She was raped as a kid, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, so she still liked like guys who like in the control and, you know, dominant. So, but if you're just a little bit too much, you know, dominant, you know, immediately she gets the memories from her childhood, from being raped, and she freaks out. Okay? So I was very, very cautious. More nice, but still kind of a little touch of dominance to get what I want and to get the relationship where I want to go with her. So I think dominance is for every girl is kind of different.
All right.
It's like driving a car, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to achieve the same speed in every car, you're going to put different amount of gas, you know. Speed, whatever.
Okay.
Make sense?
It makes sense. We got to go for a commercial break. When we come back, it'll be the third and final segment of this interview with Bad Boy here on Frank Talks, Pleasures and Lifestyles.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by the book I'm a Man, That's My Job, The Philosophy of a Seducer. What is inner game? There's a lot of contradictory information out there, and one size does not fit all. Your inner game is as unique and personal as your signature or your fingerprints. This book provides you with the means to create your own seduction persona. This is a workbook, which means we will work together, and by the end, you will have developed your own personal inner game. By this, learn what it means to be a man and what the role of the modern man in today's society is that will attract him to the woman he wants. Learn about how men and women think differently and how to take the lead in a relationship. This book is for you at franktalks.com.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by From Loser to Seducer by Frank B. Kermit. Ladies, is there a man in your life that got dumped for being clingy, needy, or was told he was a loser, but you still think he's a nice guy and want to help him? He could be a relative or even a friend, and you know he needs the help. Do you want to be the one to give him the gift that will change his life forever? How about the gift of a great biography? Buy him the book, From Loser to Seducer by Frank B. Kermit. It is the story of a nice guy who triumphs over his inner demons to find his own hidden power. Help the nice guy in your life discover his inner seducer to find his soulmate. Buy this book now at franktalks.com.
Tune in to Frank Talks, Pleasures and Lifestyles on this station for the most eclectic ensemble of interview guests ever produced. It's honest, frank approaches, trusted professional conduct, and timely taboo topics. From swing clubs and artists to sex workers and alternative lifestyles. Frank Talks is making the world a better place, one interview at a time. He's Frank because he has to be. Check local program listings for times and details.
You're listening to Frank Talks, Pleasures and Lifestyles, and I'm Frank because I have to be. We're in studio today with a gentleman who goes by the name of Bad Boy. He runs the website www.badboylifestyles, one word with an S.com. He was one of the few gurus who got a standing ovation at the Cliffs List Convention 2006. His video demonstration at that conference was beyond believable. It was really well done on the art of approaching. He is also the #1 guru in Europe. We've been talking about international game, and when we last left Bad Boy, we were talking about calibration within dominance. This is so key. I would like to explore this a little bit more with you, because so many guys who are studying seduction, who are studying dating, are going out there thinking, I have to be dominant, and they're so dominant all the time, they're hurting women. They're not making these women feel good. You talked about calibration within dominance. How do you know what to calibrate for when you're dealing with a woman? Is it based on her looks? Is it based on her body language? Is it based on some sort of an energy you pick up from her? How do you know when you need to be more dominant and when you need to be less dominant?
Okay, this is an excellent question. I think this is one of the core. Actually, it is a core of a pickup and being successful, not with girls, but with people in general. Okay, so what do you need? This is skill. Actually, if you need one skill to get girls, with all techniques, it is basically this emotional intelligence. Knowing how she feels. This is the key of pickup. Because if you know how she feels, and that's something you must practice, that's something you're not going to get from books, tapes, or sitting in front of a computer reading things. You're not going to get it. This is something you're going to get actually with talking with parents, mother, friends, and all other people, and pushing them to different emotions. And then like observing how do they feel and how do they behave in different emotions. For example, my brother was pissed yesterday on me for some stupid reason. I just calm him down. So I know next time I push him into piss mode, he's going to start yelling and throwing things around. Okay, I mean, beautiful piece of knowledge for me. Beautiful piece of knowledge. I know how my mother behaves or what she tells when she's relaxed, happy, whatever, I don't know, pissed off, insecure. Same thing for my girlfriend, same thing for my friends, and same thing for all other girls in the club. So actually, you know how far you can go. So actually, there is let's say, if you take a look, her comfort level. Comfort level is actually something that has a roof and the floor, okay? Ceiling and the floor. It's like, let's say, it's like, I don't know, 2-3 meters high. This space that you can do things inside her comfort zone. So if this zone is like a 3 meters tall, you know that you can be dominant only 3 meters, and above 3 meters, you're gonna become aggressive, and aggressive is gonna, of course, cause resistance. So basically, when you do things, if you're just like too dominant and you don't calibrate the dominance, you're gonna become an idiot. You're gonna hurt them and you're gonna scare them. They're gonna run away from you. So it's okay to basically, dominance starts from you. Of course, you're dominant, but then you calibrate with a smile on your face. You calibrate the touch. You calibrate what you say, how do you behave by her reactions. What to look for. Of course, look at her body language, her face, does she smiles, eyes, how does she behaves. So if you see you're pushing too far, stop. It means you did like too rough, you did like too aggressively. Calm down, don't use force. Instead of start achieving things, but not using force. You can still be dominant, but you don't have to use force. Because whenever you use force, you will always get resistance back. So you use force too, you'll get resistance too back from her. So you must be very, very not gentle, but be careful with being dominant. Dominance is something that goes like from 1 to 10. Above 10, it's aggressive. So every girl, of course, is going to be a little bit different. Why a little bit different? Because every girl is different. Depends from her childhood, how her parents been treating her. It also depends, was the father like the man, the head of the house, or it was mother. So take a look, if she in her childhood, her father was very strong, dominant, of course she's going to search for this kind of guy in the future to protect her. Make sense?
What happens if she has a father who was not dominant, if she grew up in a house where the mother was dominant?
Exactly. She will still want the guy who was dominant, but then you just be a little bit, not so crazy dominant, but you calibrate. Of course, you don't know when you approach a girl in a club what kind of history she had, what was first boyfriend, and first boyfriend. That's a very interesting topic. First boyfriend sets a lot for what she's going to search in her life, so as much as probably previous boyfriend as well. So, for example, if previous boyfriend was boring, okay, weak, kind of boring, and just like a hometown, like, I don't know, homeboy, okay? Mm-hmm. She's going to search for someone who is more like a crazy, more dominant, more adventure for the next boyfriend. So always you need to calibrate by her response. Of course, when you come to the club, you don't know those things. You don't know how her boyfriend was, first boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, parents, childhood. You don't know what happened. Everything you have is this girl in front of you and the reactions she's giving you.
I wanted to get your opinion on something. Now, you live this lifestyle of being the bad boy, of picking up, of having relationships. You live this 24/7. What are some of the sacrifices of this lifestyle? What are some of the obstacles you have to overcome? Like, what is the bad side of living this life? Because if somebody's listening right now, you know there's at least one guy out there who's saying, I want to be like Bad Boy. I want to live the Bad Boy lifestyle. What is something about your lifestyle that he would probably not know? Something that, you know, one of the unpleasant sides of it, one of the challenges you face with this lifestyle?
So I don't know. I just like live by the rule that I'm making and I want to make myself happy, and I'm not afraid to get what I want. Sometimes, of course, maybe you expect too much and you're gonna get disappointed. But I know we always have a backup. I don't see actually because I'm playing this game kind of smart. Okay, so you know, living in a big town and having a lot of girls is not gonna backfire. If you live in a small town and you have a lot of girls, it's gonna backfire. You're gonna have repetition very fast.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I used to have problems, but I eventually kind of, I don't know, I found what problems are, and then I start removing them, you know. For example, I had like way too many girls. I was like relying on my social circle in one period of my life. And of course, I was like, I don't know, I slept with 3-4 girls. I got bad reputation for being a player, dumping girls, making them unhappy, whatever. And I lost the social circle. I mean, girls didn't want to go out with me and stuff. So eventually, I don't know, when I say, I mean, okay, it's not everything so beautiful today. Of course, there's like things that makes you pissed, makes you unhappy, sad, whatever, you know.
Right.
But it's just like it's not any other lifestyle, but it's like more like, actually, I can't see anything that's so bad in my life. Maybe like, I know, you're afraid of STDs and stuff, but of course, if you're smart, you know, use condom every time and you're not going to get them, you know. But it's only basically one of the biggest problems that I can see that will come, maybe.
What about people's attitudes towards you? I mean, you mentioned that, you know, you develop a bad reputation. Some people just see you as a player. We mentioned earlier in this interview how people around you are jealous all the time. I often find with guys who have gotten very good at game that they just don't have the same friendships anymore. They're always people are just too jealous of them. They have a harder time interacting on the job with friends because unless they are friends with other guys who are very good with women, there's always tension. You know, there's people who are threatened saying, no, my girlfriend might be attracted to him. I don't want to be friends with Bad Boy. That sort of thing. Do you ever find that that's a sacrifice or that's an unpleasantness of this lifestyle?
Yeah, and I mean, okay, this can happen. But of course, if you're smart, you're going to solve this problem, okay? So you know, like, I mean, okay, all my guys, they know that we have the rule that, I mean, we don't hit on each other girlfriends. I know that I can leave my girlfriend. I can go to any other city for like 10, 15 days and leave my best friend with, or any other friend with my girlfriend, and he's not going to do anything with her. I know, I can trust them. And they can trust me as well, because they know I have girls, and they know like I am able to go out and get any other girl that I want in some matter of time. Is it like, I don't know, 1 day, 2 days, whatever. So I don't think actually if you're playing this game smart, you're not going to have a problem. If guys, I mean, okay, all my friends, they know when they have a problem with girls, they come to me, ask me, we go out and get some girls for them. Or like how many times I set up one of my, actually for my girlfriends, her friends to some of them, you know. It happened a million of times, you know, like that I will bring some girls and then invite them so they can get together with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're more happy to be around me than, it's like, okay, it's like, okay, I mean, you're asking this question from this frame point. When a person has a lot of gold, a lot of money, and he's selfish, you know, people are jealous about him, yes. But in my point of view, I have gold, but I'm sharing it with other friends. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely. So
it's like I'm not kind of selfish person who's going, okay, this is just me. I'm not giving this to like a little kid. He doesn't want to play other guys with his toys, you know. So yeah, I don't care. I always like, when I was a little kid, I always like gave like people to other kids to play with my toys and stuff. They're like, oh no, this is mine, you know.
We are running out of time for this interview. Is there any particular product or seminar that you're doing that you'd like to share some information on?
I think you should read my ebook. I mean, I spent like probably 6 or 8 months on writing this book, and all my thoughts, ideas, keys of lifestyle, like how to attitude to have towards the girls, and all other techniques, how to solve relationships, how to get threesomes, are inside. So I think this is one very useful piece of information that you should read. Definitely.
And where can we pick up the ebook?
Yeah.
Where?
You can pick up the ebook on www.badboylifestyle.com or boylifestyles.com. That's the same website.
All right. And do you do seminars on a regular basis?
Yeah, I do seminars basically every 2-3 weeks all over the planet. So you can find my schedule where I'm flying to actually on my website, and I do seminars in Canada on a regular basis. I do seminars in Europe on daily basis, and hopefully I'm gonna be in America, hitting the Florida and California very soon. Maybe this summer. We'll see. Stay tuned, and you're gonna.
Well, if you're ever visiting,
find a lot of information.
If you are ever visiting Toronto, by all means, let me know, and we will definitely hook up then.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
That sounds like a good plan.
Bad Boy, it's been absolutely fantastic having you here. Sincerely, I hope that when you come up with a new book or a new video or DVD product, that you will definitely come back to Frank Talks and let us know about it. And if you want to give an email address or that website one more time before we leave.
Okay, you can visit www.badboylifestyles.com to find more information about my life and my girls and techniques. Okay, guys, have fun and go out and make girls happy.
Thank you very much, Bad Boy. It's been fantastic having you on the air.
Thank you.
You're listening to Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles. Good night, everybody.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by the book I'm a Man, That's My Job, The Philosophy of a Seducer. Ladies, have you ever wondered where all the real men have gone? Do you turn to your women friends because you cannot find a true man in your life? Do you want the man in your life to step up and know what it means to be a man that can make you feel like the woman that you are? Are you tired of mothering the men you date? Give these boys the gift of manhood. The book, I'm a Man, That's My Job, teaches men to create their own seduction persona, personal inner game, and how to take the lead in a relationship. Buy this book now at franktalks.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating, or relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com.
If you need help with your relationships, my buddy Frank, he's got some tips. Just go to franktalks.com. His advice is better than your mom's. He knows what you're going through, 'cause Frank has been there too. So log on to franktalks.com, franktalks.com.
What do you do when you feel like a fool? When your heart has been broken again? Pick up the phone or get onto Skype and talk on a private session. Yeah, get to turn things around, just sign up at franktalks.com. Yeah, get by with help from Frank Talks. I get by with a little help from Frank Talks. Time to try a little help from Frank Talks. Doesn't cost a lot of money. It's the best rate going around. Could it cost a lot of money? Oh, it's worth every cent that you will put down. Yeah. FrankTalks.com. Oh, you got to go to get your help from FrankTalks.com. Yeah, yeah. FrankTalks.com. Would you believe that Frank gets results? Yes, we're certain. Just read the reviews. Frank knows his stuff, and Frank's got the goods. Good love can soon come to you.